Post-divorce dating isn't just about meeting somebody new, it's about becoming somebody new. Divorce can feel like the end of a chapter, but new relationships can offer a whole new book. You're not alone if you're uncertain on how to approach relationships again, leaving a divorce. Some men may want to dip their toe in while others want to jump in head first. Either way, it involves navigating uncharted territory. And if there's one key element that's important to take away, it's that one size doesn't fit all. Some men have talked about wanting to find their feet again, spending time alone and focused on other priorities, while others who may be starved for affection or physical intimacy are eager to jump back into things. For some men, being able to balance parenthood and dating takes a little bit of time and effort. And even the subject of talking about dating with an ex can certainly be a sensitive one. In this video, we're going to break down some of the key things that men navigate when exploring post divorce dating and relationships. That includes overcoming fear, rediscovering your confidence, and how dating can feel different in a different phase of life. Most importantly, we're going to help you understand what it means and how you'll know when you're ready so that you can enter comfortably and confidently into that world. You're in the right place, so stick around. Hi, I'm Brendan, a former executive who works with high achieving men, exploring the deeper truths related to success, purpose, and fulfillment. I help men make meaning of the restlessness, reinvention, and relationships that appear in midlife. This is a space for truth, clarity, and growth. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here. So I think a good place to start might be really just acknowledging that as we move into and start thinking about relationships again, there can be a whole lot of different emotions that show up and are present and really depend on the experience that we had going through our divorce. Some men who have been blindsided or have discovered their partner having an affair are probably going to have some struggles with trust and really have that fear. It'll take a while before they're able to feel secure in a new relationship, and doing that work, having those honest conversations with somebody, and probably ensuring that that trust is actually earned along the way. It may not be a given the way it may be in some other relationships. I think that's fair. I think it's something to ask for, something to be clear about, and just understanding that your own tolerance, that your own level of suspicions, probably going to be higher than usual. I think that's something that you can work with and navigate your way through with good communication. Another big one that comes up is all around self confidence. Unfortunately, the whole process of divorce seems to be one of seeking out all of your faults, every bad thing you've ever done, and trying to portray you as a bad person. And that can really shake a man's self confidence. He can be left wondering if all of those things are true, even when he knows deep in his heart that they aren't true. We can also face what it means to best present ourselves in a dating environment. So, how we dress, our body image, our body confidence, and really feeling like this is territory that we may not have been in a long, long time. We always want to do our best to put a good image forth, but I also want to encourage you to still be you at the end of the day, to look good, but look good in a way that still is genuine to you. And I think it's important to remember not to take things personally. Dating can be a complex world, and different people have different issues, and you may experience rejection, you may get ghosted, things may feel like they're going well and then take a sudden turn. This happens to everybody and isn't necessarily because you're doing something wrong or because you're not doing well at dating. It's just the complexity of everybody's issues that show up in the dating world. Some men will wonder if they still have a particular type that they're attracted to, and some men may want to make a deliberate choice to really avoid anybody that reminds them of their ex. I think it's a great time to do some exploring, and in fact, there's never been more opportunities to really look across different diversity and choices and try some new things, try new partners that you might not have chosen before, and just see what happens. I also encourage you not to strictly spend too much time online chatting and working it through. Absolutely, you want to understand if the spark's there, if the interest is there, but those coffee dates become really important. Understanding if there is some level of chemistry, understanding that people can be different in person than they are through text messages or online, and sometimes for the better, and sometimes realizing it's not a match. I think one of the more complex areas to navigate is the area of post divorce sex and intimacy. Again, based on your experience, you can end up having a range of emotions in this space. If you were coming out of a sexless marriage, you may be very excited, but also a little bit anxious. That fear of perhaps repeating a pattern may sit in the back of your head. If you found that your partner was unfaithful or had an affair, that can also have an effect on your overall confidence. Our body issues can be an area in this space as well, both in terms of how we look and how we feel, but how we perform. As we hit midlife, sometimes our erections can be different, and so can that space of navigating intimacy and sex. And overall, it is always going to be a somewhat vulnerable place. And you really have to determine if you're emotionally ready to open up into that space. It could open up different pieces of sadness, it could open up other emotions. And I think having a partner where you can feel emotionally safe, where it's okay to talk about that, where it's okay to share that, where they understand what you're going through and aren't expecting you to somehow magically have it all under control and know everything. And of course, it is always very valuable to re educate yourself on all of the different facets of safer sex. One of the other key struggles that men are figuring out is just when is the right time to start thinking about dating and relationships and sex in post divorce. And this really varies and really depends on you. Can you ask yourself honestly, do you still carry a lot of sadness or a lot of anger or bitterness? These are pieces and signs that you still have some processing to do. Some part of you will know and feel that readiness when it comes, and likely you're never going to feel 100% ready, but some part of you will tell you that it's at least time to try it out and see what happens. There's certainly different ways of meeting people in a post divorce world. Apps tend to be the most common, and lots of different apps across lots of different types of connections and individuals and communities. But don't forget things like joining sports teams, volunteering, and just getting out and about in different places can be a great chance to meet somebody by happenstance. And sometimes the chemistry ends up a little bit better than it does online. So don't just limit yourself to one particular option. I think it's really important to be honest and authentic about what it is that you're looking for. If you want hookups, then that's your choice. If you want more leaning into relationships, then you can head in that direction as well. The difficulties often come when there's a mismatch and one partner is getting emotionally involved when another partner just wants to have fun. Making sure that you're both on the same page tends to make things go a little bit smoother and avoids uncomfortable or awkward situations later on. If you're a father, you'll need to determine how you want to incorporate that into your profile and how those conversations happen. I'd encourage you to be as upfront as you can, as early as you can. Hiding the fact that you have kids can end up becoming a snowball and get bigger and bigger and ultimately damage the relationship, sometimes past the point of no return later on. You're probably going to feel a little bit awkward in those first conversations in a dinner out, not fully knowing what to say or what to do. This is completely normal. You'll find your feet, you'll find your space. Sometimes it's because there isn't that connection with that person, and sometimes you're overthinking it or trying too hard to look good rather than just relaxing and being yourself. And it's easy advice, I recognize that, but truly it is the way forward. Just be yourself and see where it goes. Take some of that pressure off and worry less about being liked and more just do you enjoy being in this person's company? And dating and intimacy doesn't have to be an all or nothing prospect. You may want to explore and go online and just see who else is out there and do nothing more at this time. You may have an encounter or go on a date and realize that you're not ready, and that's great learning for you. You get to decide how often and how much you want to be dating or hooking up or everything in between. And you have the ability to ramp it up or ramp it down at any time. You're in the driver's seat, and it doesn't have to be an on off switch. It can be whatever you want it to be. And I encourage you to really land on what feels right and change it as that changes for you as well. Overall, while divorce may have been an ending, this is a chance for some new beginnings, and you get to navigate it in a way that feels most right for you. In this process, inevitably, you are reflecting on past relationships and reflecting on your marriage and navigating what you want to do the same and what you want to do differently. Sometimes that can be difficult and sensitive work, and do it at a pace that feels okay and feels comfortable for you. Make sure you're taking good care of your physical, mental, and emotional health, not only because it is part of rebuilding and recovering from a divorce, but also because you're entering into new spaces and having new experiences. And that self care is what's going to keep you healthy and grounded through that process. Make sure that you're building up your support network with friends or trusted advisors or coaches, people where you can have that confidential space without judgment to talk about and explore what's coming up. Sometimes it's past issues coming forward, and sometimes it's navigating new and unknown issues that you haven't had to navigate before. You're not alone in this, and making sure that you've got the right perspectives and space can help make things easier. How quickly you jump into this or don't jump into this is completely up to you. Doing this in the time and the space that feels right is what's going to enable your success and help you do this in a way that feels okay for you. Don't let anybody else tell you what timeline it should happen or when or what should happen. It's what feels right. And it's not an on off switch. It's doing what you want in the places and spaces that you most want to do at any given moment. It is yours to ramp up or ramp down. So I hope that starts to give you some perspective on the world of post divorce dating, intimacy, and sex. Much of it is around understanding and overcoming our fears, finding our self confidence, knowing that there is vulnerability, and determining if we're ready to step into this space. There really is no one size fits all. It is up to you to choose your own journey ahead in a way that best makes sense for you. I'd love to know how this experience has gone for you. If you have experiences, tips, or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. For more resources and information, you can go to my website at brendanabbott.com. We'll put a link in the show notes. And I really want you to leave this video just understanding that your next chapter can be very exciting and very fulfilling when you do it in a way that feels true to you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.